So we can use this opportunity, or you can all utilize this chance, because otherwise I don't let you get a word in edgewise. So I felt a bit that I'll hear everyone today to see where we are, to see what is getting in your way, if anything at all. What are the things that seem to take you away from God's light, if anything at all? And are we like even on the same planet when I go on for weeks and weeks and weeks about this? And so I'm happy to hear today and anything all of you have to say, and don't feel shy, because it gives me a good sense of where we are as a Sangha also. Doesn't mean you won't get a job, so don't. It may if there's a quick solution, which is some instant tough medicine, I feel like we should be open to that. And you know that I don't job because I take some joy in it or something like that.
I have mic.
I'm happy firstly that Dad is feeling better.
Oh, thank you everyone, Sangha. So I would like to share that experience also and what went through and all. So he physically, medically, he suddenly started losing balance and speech problem and all. And finally it was MRI and then blood clot and surgery, and in weeks he is back home. So it's all your grace and everybody's prayer and work. Even doctor is surprised at this age he is recovering well and recovered well, so that he is back home. A few observation, Father, and so when he was on bed and about to go in surgery, I could see myself there also, and I was like seeing if I am there. And in all that experience, for sure, I was nowhere near God that time. I was full of the only thing was in my mind is about my family and all. Like if I was there, what would have gone through me? I could see the biggest attraction or the challenge mind was throwing is about what will happen to my family, specifically the kids. So it was all around kids in those moments. However, when I could get some sense, and he was in the procedure for a long time, I was personally in full space, God space, and I could definitely see and accept whatever is happening, whatever was happening. So those 4-5 hours were not in stress or not in any sort of mind games that were going on. But at least that moment showed that the weakest point, which is again the kids and families and all around that came. Also, Father, I mean, after all this hoo-ha and prayer and surgery and everything, after 2 or 3 days later, my father was in senses, and I was surprised to see like it's a second gift for him at this age. He had gone through bypass few years back. Now this half brain, and full volume. He was busy in those political forwards in WhatsApp. So I have no objection to that. However, I'm just wondering, right? If I was there, probably I would be the same. I mean, you value the life so much at the moment when you are about to die, and once you get it, it's nowhere near the value which you thought for, and then you start again the same thing. So many close encounters, and I just want your blessing that as much as time we could be presence of God and stay away from mind's Maya, Father. That has helped a bit. This experience, last 1 week, I was able to be more in presence of God. But with all this experience, I feel that I would also go in the same direction as if I face that critical time, and I don't know, I lost some confidence after this experience.
Very good. Thank you for this report. One of the things that happens with you is that you like to do these like projection tests, no? Isn't it? So I want to tell you that life anyway tests us enough. So you don't have to beat yourself up on these tests, projection tests, saying, what if, you see? Because it is not that you're trying to come to some state which is stable, or maybe you are, and maybe why this answer is important. You see? It is that our paradigm has to change from achieving a particular state or retaining a particular state to doing it for the love of God. So, if you love God, if you love the presence of the Atma within, just like if you were to really love someone and he or she was there, then you'd want to be with them naturally, no? You see? So then you're not trying to get mastery over how can I always be there, because you just naturally long to be in the presence. So be in love with this rather than trying to achieve a state. And this love will amplify by itself. You'll see that a moment spent in love will magnify into hundreds, and those hundreds will magnify into thousands. It just grows, it's exponential.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I don't have questions. I think all of them have been asked and all of them have been answered. Over the past few months, through satsang, what has arisen here is a prayer which is for abidance.
Please turn this off for a bit.
And a request that let only knowingness respond to knowing. I muddle things up. A few weeks ago, there was a huge tsunami which lasted for 8 days. But the beauty through it all that I realized was knowing was there, although the tsunami was loud and I was believing the tsunami, but knowing still remains. And so I realized that I kept clinging on to knowing, but it was just and it was what it was. I'm glad it's over. It's scary to be there, even though I know better.
Yes.
And I just want to leave that at the Lord's feet. about I'm recognizing the meaning of knowing, responding to knowing.
Okay.
Having said that, could you speak a little bit more about loving?
Mhm.
I feel love more than before, and it makes me happier. Um, then the mind gets in the way and says, well, if somebody puts somebody in front of you and say, I love them, can you do that? Like, well, but it's not like that, is it? It's
But
just
what is the answer to that?
the
So this
answer
is a
to
good
that is
question.
that
So somebody
knowing,
put somebody in, and then
now
they
you love
love
this
him.
person. Yeah,
Then
so
can
it's
you?
not like,
She's not looking.
what? Love him.
You can.
But that's the expression that I realize as opposed to something else the mind makes of that
Exactly.
love, right? Because genuine flow of goodness and kindness and loveness is just inherently there unless I put something in the way. Hey, I just realized something while talking to you. That's cool. So this is where I am, Guruji.
Good. Good. I'm very happy you're here, firstly, and
I'm so excited. I could burst.
in the first part of the report, there was a little bit of a sense of like a me trying to cling on for dear life to knowingness, awareness.
Yeah.
So,
That was the 8 days thing.
yeah.
It was during those 8 days. And I gave it, I want to say it was hormones. But that's fine. When I remember it, then I get like that. And then when I realize, then I'm back to being here.
What is the advantage of being just peaceful over being anxious?
What is the advantage of being peaceful over being anxious?
Yes. I know it can sound
You
like an
can
absurd
live, yeah, you
question.
can bindass live life without tension if you're peaceful. And
But what would happen if you would have to live it with tension? Yeah? What is that?
that's scary, no?
Okay, so it's fear, anxiousness, and fear is kind of.
It feels real in the moment. That's it. But I know better that it's just a temporary thing. And if it's just, and it goes on and on and on. Because it feels like a sense of, so during the course of these years, there have been a lot of epiphanies which have shed a lot of baggage. And then there has been a saying that nothing in this world you can hold on to for grounding. So suddenly it feels like dhunk. I'm ready for the dhunk, and I think it'll be the best thing that happen. And I'm here to be fully dead. It's just the power, and if I could say it another way, I'd say, can you just pull the elastic and go? That's it.
Are you noticing some self-preservation even in the
For no
spiritual?
reason. How do I don't know what that is, yeah. I feel like crying right now.
Good. Crying because?
Because I don't want to give that power. I want to use my power or the power that is here towards knowing. That power should be knowing's power instead of me taking it and.
Okay, so let's try an experiment. For a minute, just forget everything. Don't worry about anything at all. Knowing also, me also, everything.
the best. Avoidance here.
Abidance also. Forget everything. I'm helping you because as you do this outside satsang, then the mind will make it into a way to abide, into a something, into a something for me. So
Yes.
just that's why I'm saying, and the minute a position gets made like that I found a way which works so simply. It's okay, it's okay. I sat with Guruji and then he showed me so simply I can just leave it. You see, and the minute we feel like we have some mastery over something, yeah, like an individual mastery over something, the minute the mind has created a fertile opportunity for it to be attacked. You see? So you're not finding a way into something. Yes.
Yeah.
So that is simple. Before we start any construction, if we start constructing, then it starts to become complex again.
That's elastic. Otherwise, all has been
You
thus
don't
anyway.
understand.
Don't understand.
Because we create newer frames.
Yeah.
So just whatever frames are coming from here are just so that you can deconstruct everything that is there. It's not so that we can create a new understanding. You can perceive everything.
Yes.
Pure perception is fine. See? But pure perception, or what you're truly perceiving, is impossible to encapsulate in words. And the mind hates that because without the words it cannot make a narrative. And without a narrative there is no ego. See, the ego cannot exist without a story. Every me has a story. So because we are not able to encapsulate the vastness of our perceptual experience, forget the non-perceptual part, even the perceptual experience, that is why we convert it into these kindergarten stories. This one was looking at me like this, he doesn't like me, he likes me. So we made such a beautiful moment full of light and love and presence into some stupid, strange idea. It has nothing to do with anything. But we live there. All of humanity basically lives there in those narratives.
Oh, as you speak, there is this longing saying that I want to come home, and I'm realizing it is that same. It's the same I, which is using longing to stay alive. No?
May not be. How are you able to tell it's a longing and not a desire? Like, do you distinguish between the two, or are you using them synonymously?
I don't know if I know the distinction.
So, longing is heart knowledge. The heart calls us home. The heart recognizes our master. Take a minute or two.
And desire being? I think it's.
What happens very often is we take the insight from the heart and give it to the mind and say, okay, tell me about this. You see, that is not the right way to do it. Stay with whatever the heart is revealing.
It's just an ache without chipkawing any words to it.
You want to say something?
About the last question you asked about the difference, it's just an ache. If I don't give it words, it's just something that's something, I don't know what. But
Yeah.
then if I put a word to it, then I say it's an ache.
Hmm.
And it feels like, I don't know. I don't know what it feels like.
Yes. Yes. So get used to I don't know here. No? And then true knowledge from the heart will start to become more and more apparent. It cannot be rushed. In fact, it's already all there.
Yes.
It's already all there for all of us. It's just what needs to come to the surface of expression that is up to that.
Let's go. Practical question.
Hmm.
Since we are here. Um, does it help to be in your physical presence? My mama says, don't create new crutches for yourself. You're already full and whole. Like, yes, mama. I hear the truth in what she says too. And yet
Stay
I
with
feel,
mom?
pardon?
You stay with mom?
No, mama is in Delhi and I'm in Bombay. But we back and forth a lot. And I keep telling her, don't keep me away from my Guruji. Satsang is always, it's like you come home every day, right? So, and she's not trying to, she said, don't hear what I'm not saying, which ultimately I realized what she's saying. She's not I said, don't discourage me. She said, I'm not discouraging you. You hear what I'm saying, and I got it. And yet I'm here asking you. I'll happily stay here. I'll happily stay here because we hear people say that when you are with a person who is an open vortex like you are, who has recognition, it helps, right? Because if you're standing in the rain, you're going to get wet, and that's the best thing. And even when I'm in satsang, like I said, it spills over to my husband. So I guess that's the answer. But I want you to say something, please.
It's whatever contact we make with God, it helps us. So let's say you deeply admire a sage like Ribhu or Ashtavakra. Then of course we can read the Ashtavakra Gita, and reading that you can become enlightened. It's true. But if you had the chance to go and visit Ashtavakra if he was here, would you? You would. So, and if you had the chance then to stay in his presence all the time because he is Ashtavakra, so then we would. So, and I'm using sages, I'm not even saying like Jesus or Ram or Krishna, any of that. So I feel like although we can be benefited by reading the words of satsang, by reading a book, we can be benefited by Zoom, we can be benefited in all forms of contact. But if it is possible and if life has made the space for us to do it, then we must make a full-hearted attempt to it. And it is the Guru's job to make sure that he doesn't become a worldly crutch for you. Otherwise, he's not doing a good enough job.
Now keep me here.
Stay, please stay. You're very welcome.
Mwah.
Does this mean that if you're here, then automatically everything is naturally going to be sorted and you're at a definite advantage? Naturally, not necessarily. Because what could happen is you could be here physically, but because then you end up taking this one for granted, then it could also be that, today I wasn't really paying attention satsang because I had some like relationship issue or some issue. So all those things can also happen. So there are pros and cons to everything. But I feel like overwhelmingly, if you have the opportunity in this lifetime to live with someone who is living in God's light, I don't feel like there's a greater gift possible. In fact, I'm going to say that we must use the Guru as a crutch, as our only crutch, fully reliant. You can become fully reliant on the Guru, which is actually the Sadguru's presence. But if we had the possibility of meeting an embodiment of that, or one who's predominantly in the light of the Sadguru's presence, use that fully. Because what are we trying to save? You see, we're saying, oh, don't make that into a crutch. You be self-reliant. But which self are we saying? You see, which self are we talking about?
Yes, that's true.
And of course, as a parent, it's a very natural thing to say. But when we are talking about surrender to God and emptying ourselves for God, then what better reliance can we have than a Guru? Much better than the so-called smallest self.
My mama has a connection in the heart with Krishna. And it serves her really beautifully.
Yes.
And like how Mujibara says, God is my best secretary, I don't know. Mama is like that. Mama says, भगवान जी मेरे सारे काम करा देते हैं, मैं बड़ी, and she has a genuine this thing. So I appreciate, for her the bhakti, this thing is really beautiful flowering in her. And as you are talking to me right now, I can see, I appreciate her and you clearly, which is a blessing.
So I met another parent a few weeks back. I met a parent of somebody who's been in satsang with me for many years. So I tried to venture into, Atma Darshan and नहीं मुझे मिल चुके हैं मैं ठीक हूँ मुझे मिल चुके हैं when I was really young, I found Hanuman. So it was like, I want to talk to you as a friend, but don't like tell me stuff.
You met
Because
my mom though.
have I?
Yeah, she came with my sister also came. My sister was pregnant at the time, or we had an I don't remember. But all of us, when you found me at the Ghats,
Yeah.
that evening, Mama also came and Anita also
Oh,
came.
nice.
And she sat fully, and she's
Very
like, she appreciates the whole thing. It's all good.
When Jamsasam, you also mentioned that I think we are all tired of listening to this sophisticated minds now. We actually need more of the knowledge of the heart, honestly.
Yes.
Yes. I feel this is the thing for all. And for me also, it's the battleground. I feel it's all boiling down to that, the moment by moment, because each time the recognition is about that. Every moment, either it is God or not.
Yes.
And this is what has been the recognition, and that's what I've been sharing also with you, Father. The battleground is about this.
Yes.
Everything, all the
Yes.
practices and everything,
Yes.
it's actually coming to this moment of belief, whether I'm keeping myself empty or whether I'm believing the mind. So all this while, probably, Father, it was all restricted to only the practices that I was doing, like 30-minute meditation, like sitting with my attention, trying to manipulate that. But now I realize it was actually, you used to say, right? It's all about believing in the next thought. But I recognize that my practices, till the time of the practice I was focusing, but rest of the times I was believing. So never was there a space created for God in that. Yes. So I feel, Father, this has been the recognition, and I feel moment by moment is what I'm trying to follow now.
Very good. Who invented the phrase work is worship?
That's all now.
Hmm?
That's all now.
So I better be careful what I say.
Some social reformer.
But what's important is that I feel like this traps a lot of us, because we feel like it's to live in God's light or to work. That should become our life, because work is worship. But if I could make an addition to that, work is worship only if that work is in God's will. And that means what? That it has God's light shining in it. Okay? And God is an active participant in that. Okay? Otherwise it is not worship, it's work.
So, having said that, does it make sense to find that kind of work, or let it find you if it is God's will?
If it is God's will that you find it, then fine. Otherwise, let it find you.
Well, sometimes I don't have a day job, so sometimes sitting idle is like devil's workshop. Totally recognize that. So then one says, why don't I this, that, or the other? And then there's a knowing that, dude, if it is meant to be, it'll come to you. You sit in satsang. I haven't done anything about it so far. Come here instead.
Yes.
So,
Yes, that's how it's unfolding from God's light. I'm just saying that we cannot inherently say something is worship unless it is in God's light, in God's presence. So if you're living in God's light and organically it is found, then that is fine. But if you're also hearing God's voice and he's telling you to go there and find, then you must follow that as well. But don't rush into that.
Got it.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened. Yeah. Okay.
So as much as possible, even during work, stay in God's light.
I'm actually doing it. Thing is, whenever I get breaks, so I have this app which reminds me to take breaks.
Yeah.
Because of my health also.
Yes, yeah.
I keep taking breaks like that. So what I do is, whenever there are breaks, I listen to your satsang, or probably I even sit, reflect a bit on your pointers. So at least there's something like, it shouldn't be like I'm completely consumed by the mind, I don't want that. I mean, it's like most of the times that happens because every moment is presented, again, either I can be empty or I believe it's in a thought. But
So to stay empty moment to moment, even during work times, and you'll notice that whatever has to unfold, not with our mind's expectations, but whatever has to unfold will unfold through this instrument. But it's a good habit to return back to something which grounds you to your center.
I just hope that don't take a position somewhere, like it shouldn't be like somewhere probably without even my knowledge, be taking a subtle position.
Yes.
I've been maybe with Meera also was discussing something recently that even in the waking state, Father, there are so many states, like if we see, it could be even with the sleep states also, there's so many semi-sleep states, but when I see myself, where am I in all of this, where am I, like, because these are all states that they come and go, and this was an inquiry very strongly has been happening in the last few days, and where am I really in all of this? So that was also there, and again, it shouldn't be like consciousness is also a state of being, right? So I don't want to take that position that this is also a state and let me just shun this. So I've been mindful of that part as well. So,
yes, neither ends of the spectrum.
Yes. Thank you so much, Father, for your guidance. I feel you just hammer us, like your pointers, they just, it's like a eroding of a mountain, literally, like constantly. So really thankful and grateful to have.
So like there's a lot of this imaginary I story in this report, and I guess a chop would help maybe. So it's worth exposing. So so this related to that work and all that stuff again. Like first, before
We just
all
started.
that, yeah, just recently, about a week or something.
Yeah.
So this letting of thought by thought, no? So if my attention is on some, like when I'm sitting by myself and I'm doing it as a practice, closing my eyes, my attention is on the mind. Thought comes, don't believe. Thought comes, don't believe. But suppose I'm staring at a screen, my attention is there. And some of the attention goes to a thought and it's believed.
Yeah.
And I don't even notice that attention is on it and belief has also gone into it.
Yeah.
So my struggle has been like how to live in God's, like that connection, like, and even reading, understanding, writing again, rewriting, all that.
So when this dissipated attention goes to the mind and you end up believing it, and you got stuck in that, then what next?
I don't feel the core anymore. I don't feel that love, God's love.
Okay, but what after that?
I just continue in that state, then at some point I get all super frustrated.
Can we continue in that state just like that? So just in a moment of dissipated attention, you bought one thought. How long does that hypnosis continue?
The core is gone, Father. For like
For how long?
very long. Unless I
Try
spend
this.
like an hour.
One thought came. I want a sandwich for lunch. And core is gone for an hour. Huh?
For me, it's like I need to sit down and do it for so long, the practice, till I feel the core. Like I'm inferring that dissipated attention went and I believed it, based on me not feeling that core anymore. Somewhere in work,
Hold on to a thought right now.
I don't feel the core. Okay. I feel it. This is your doing. Okay,
that I can't help. Talk to me when you're not there.
Exactly.
No, I heard this complaint many times. It's okay right now because you're here. So how do I talk to you?
I don't know what to answer.
It's not like that.
No, Father. If you look at it, how can I not know myself? I mean, how can I even believe in my thought? I first need to, consciously you can register yourself, but as an inference also you do that.
No,
Making sense,
the main point is that the hypnosis of the thought is nothing. It's measly. That's why it needs constant reinforcement, constant newer ideas. Does the mind keep quiet after you bought a thought? No, it uses that opportunity to give you 50 more. You always do this. This is how you get stuck. You'll never find it. So that is what happens. So that's what I was saying. What next? So it's true that sometimes it just catches you off guard. You were busy with something, a thought came, and it has your assent. You've given it your belief, and you didn't even realize when it happened. Yes, but what next? So what happens is that the worldly way to do it is to beat ourselves up. Say, I failed at it, I should have done better, I can't stay like this, I need more help, I need to inquire more, all of that is just consuming like a salad and then having the whole 7-course meal because you're feeling guilty about the salad. So if you had the salad and you said you are completely on a fast, then what to do? Stop eating then. Whenever you recognize you're eating, stop eating then. You can't eat more and more your way out of it into a better diet.
But Father, while doing the ADS, it takes me a lot of time till I feel the presence.
Yeah.
And it's not like if I just drop a thought, immediately I feel it.
It's a very first world problem.
No, but my point is, how do I do it? I can't spend an hour at work doing this. Like, how do I stay connected?
Yeah, slowly. So, firstly, it takes us an hour to come to the presence.
Privilege.
Whose presence are we coming to? God's presence. In our storybooks, how many ages and yugas did people do tapasya to find the darshan of God for one moment? So he could come for one moment and do tathastu to us. Thousands and thousands of years. 1 hour to come to. And somewhere there may be a lack of faith that presence is God's presence. So if it takes an hour, it's a very good problem to have. One of my first teachers told me, and I realized a lot of things about that whole movement make sense because of when I remember these words. He said, if every day you can spend 3 seconds in God's presence, that's more than enough. Which, please don't follow that, but I'm just saying that it explained a lot about that whole spiritual movement to me. But for most, even that can seem like such a huge privilege. We must endeavor to live every moment in God's presence, of course. But this is not a problem. It takes me an hour. Okay, so if you didn't take that hour, you would not have, you would continue in giving that momentum. You see, so to break that momentum of the mind and individuality, to snap out of it and live even for a moment in presence because of that is like a reboot. It's very good.
It is a great privilege, Father, but if I want to do more of it, stay more,
So once you come into the presence after the hour, then
somehow it's dissipated. I don't get how it goes
so 1
away.
hour, then 1 moment, then 1 hour again, then 1 moment, then like that.
Like 1 hour, I feel the presence. Somewhere I'm going, it stays for a while,
Yeah.
and somewhere I lose it. I don't know how.
How? I'll tell you.
Okay.
It's the same thing. The how to lose it is very straightforward.
In the sense, I don't have a memory of it nor attention of it. Like,
Correct. So that's the first question which you said, that somehow it got dissipated and I found myself believing something. So what is important is not to postmortem that and say, how did I get here? Why did this always happen? All of that. To consume more calories because you had a salad. The idea is then to stop. When you know to stop.
and just let go thoughts. That's it.
Yeah. When you know to just let go of thoughts, just allow them to come and go.
But doing just that, I don't feel the presence. Again, you're going to.
Especially if you started your day with something like Atmadarshan Samadhi or inquiry or invitation, then you will find that you will feel the presence as you keep letting go during the day.
Thank you.
And even if you don't actually feel the presence, you're actually just ridding yourself of a lot of suffering, no, by letting go of thoughts. It's not just because, oh, you see, you cannot say I'm feeling at it. Even letting go of one thought could rid you from, I don't know how many weeks of suffering.
The other thing, it's possible to read and write without going to the mind.
Yes. If it's possible to speak.
I should be looking at the screen and letting go of all thoughts.
Yes. We could be looking at this screen all the time and letting go of all thoughts. This whole thing is a screen.
Yeah. So primary focus is on letting off thoughts, not on reading, understanding.
Of course.
Wherever I go.
Yeah. See if you read better or understand better or worse. If your focus is to remain empty. What does it mean to know?
I looked at it actually just today and in the morning when I was doing the EDS or whatever. So it feels as if you kind of you perceive anything and then you say this is a cup. I'm just saying, and it feels something. The mind feels in control now. Now I have some knowledge of something, and so that when I need it, I won't be lost, and I will find out, and I know what I have to do. And
I've
then
made sense of life.
yeah, and then in that same way, I've controlled, and then the larger picture control my life. Like I will know what to do, what's right, so I will not get hurt, and this will not happen to me, and that will. It's all nonsense because everything's going to happen the way it's supposed to happen, whether I know it or not. And in fact, my knowing it makes
even
it
this
worse.
we don't know.
Yeah, but no, I just noticed that the knowing makes it worse because I'm not seeing it the way it is. Because I already had, if I have an
By the way,
idea, yeah.
I don't feel like your mask is helping at all.
It's a question of whether I'm going to breathe or not. I can't breathe with it all over my nose or whatever. So my COVID days, this is the ultimate mask for me. I can't do more.
She's the mask here. And when she's talking, then the whole mouth is also.
Maybe
And she's right in front here. So it's basically the mask sweetnessing. If my son has the infection, I want it too. In the garb of wearing.
Yeah. Well.
Now you don't know whether to put it properly or
I
something.
can't. That's not an option.
Then why have it
Go
on?
back. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just pretending. This is like halfway measure where you just, say, okay, maybe it's gonna work. You just assuming it's gonna work. But if I put it on my
Maybe
nose,
that one
yeah.
virus particle will get intercepted by that mask, while the 99 free particles will be fine.
Now one scientific explanation is coming.
Acha.
So when you breathe through your nose, there are filters, but when you breathe through your mouth, there are no filters. So
Correct.
you get sick faster. There's immunity is less.
Yeah.
Then the nose. So the nose is already covered now. So
It's already sorted.
It's covered. The throat, which is
In all
smoking
these
now.
pandemics and all, people breathe through your nose. That's all. The filters are there. The hair is there. All the bacteria getting stored.
See, and you know this, and then you feel happy, and then you believe it. You don't believe it, and then you.
N97.
N97 nose 97.
And this report is based on the fact that I see that in the realm of my mind, here, there's like the two things, but they're both in the mind, like a positive stuff. It may propose one belief, and then it may counter that belief with another belief. So you're still in that same hypnosis. You're just exchanging one kind of guna for another one or something. But where you're showing us to go is not in that box at all. And it's like here where you're saying is that empty space is like one is I can actively dissolve something, or I can just leave it. Like just leave it like that and midway, and you don't wait. And then you find yourself out of that whole paradigm, and then you're like, what was I ever doing there? I mean, and it's quite a shock when it happens because you don't know what really happened to you. So now sometimes there's utter confusion because I have no clue now in where I really am. So that was, I was saying that what would it mean that if I knew something? It wouldn't really mean anything anyway, in a sense. So I don't have any complaints, but I just feel disoriented. And
When we don't know in the head, you see, that is when we know in the heart.
So
So
also,
we're never truly clueless. The cluelessness is only to take false knowledge to be true knowledge, to take avidya to be true. And when we take that to be true, that is the only time when we are clueless.
also
So be empty in the head, and you said, I have no clue where I am. Is this true?
no,
In fact, I'm waiting for one of you to make me a report about where you are,
I don't know.
where you really are from your heart. You see, so we must not rush into the conclusion that, oh, but the heart is silent. So therefore, I then don't know. In your silence, you know everything. You see? But what you mean is that you don't have the outer expression yet. And many times you heard me in satsang saying there are things to be said, but the words are not formed yet. So I notice that they are forming. So they'll be ripe to share soon. So, and how long that process of ripening takes is up to the heart. You can never force it. But you cannot be in God's light, in His presence, and not know the truths of everything there is to know. It is impossible. Does that make you special? No. Does it give you abilities and siddhis? Only if that is the will of the heart, will of God. But will you be attached to any of that? No. You won't be. You see, because the precondition itself is the opposite of the desire to be somebody or have some special knowledge. So be empty, but don't treat that as a sort of like dumb way to be.
No, it's definitely not dumb.
Yeah.
It's not done.
So I am proposing to you that everything that can ever be known is known to you then. Where you know God, where you know God, how can you not know everything else? Everything else meaning knowledge about time, space, universe, all of that is nothing compared to knowledge of God. So the knowledge of God includes all of this.
The struggle for me still is about the struggle for me these days is still about the work thing, Father. I'm glad you had got that point. The thing is, whenever I feel that I'm engaged in work, or I feel the mind gets activated more during those moments. So that is, I don't know what to do, or maybe you can guide me here, Father. I don't know because I try whatever with whatever I have, but still.
So as an experiment, just now from now on in your work, just slow everything down as much as possible. Okay. Just slow it down. Nothing will get impacted at the outer level. But what can happen is that the minute we come into so-called work mode, we're willing to get rushed and finish and this also finish. Mhm. And we want to juggle and multitask and be effective and productive and all of those things. So forget about all of that. Just slow it down. And when I say slow it down, I'm actually saying meet the actual slowness in which all of this is happening. See, because compared to your being, The functioning of the mind and even this world is quite slow. You see, in fact, your mind can never catch up with your being. You see? It's just that with our attention, our being turns back towards it and says, just organically, your being is already moved on. Already moved on. There's no chance the mind cannot win this race. So, because of our interest, we turn and say, have you noticed this or?
Yeah. Slow down to move faster.
Yes. Run slow to run fast is what I'm trying. But so you notice that your being is so super fresh just naturally. That's why I was saying, how long does it take? Nothing, you're done. Then you get that call from the mind, wait. Then if you don't turn, and you just keep moving, nothing. But we turn, and say, it's like that.
That's smoking, I'm just saying, that urge comes, and I always say, you just let it go. Just let it go for that 1 second.
Yeah.
And it's gone, and you realize it's really not there anymore.
Can we do this experiment?
Yeah.
Just you be with the freshness of your being, just naturally where your being is. See if the mind can never catch up with it. But you don't turn back to look at it. You see? Then you'll hear a whisper. Listen. See? And if you're not interested, you know that it's the same trick, no? Like millions of times we've fallen for it now. So when you hear that, listen, don't turn. So when I'm saying slow it down, it's not that you have to change something really. Just meet this natural pace which is already there. See? Now nothing can rush you. The boss is calling you, you have a Zoom call going on at the same time, all of that. But if you meet it like really slowly like that, nothing is going to happen. And this is what I noticed that I went to Thiru first time when I met Guruji. In the midst of, I'd just done a huge conference and all of that. And I'd gone there for a short time. You know? And then after I met him, I was like, I don't want to lose this. You know? So then, but I was still getting work calls and things like that. But I noticed that I was just like picking up the phone slowly. Hello? Yeah. Yes. No. Yeah, I feel. Is it finished? Nobody noticed anything strange. I feel like I'm like that since then. I've not left that mode. But in first, I noticed it. Yeah. Sitting in Usha, actually, or Usha, I was just sitting and I was like, I don't want to take any calls. And then one very important customer, she called. I was like, I don't want to take it, but whatever. So then I took it. But So it just starts unfolding very naturally and doesn't get in the way. And what is the worst case scenario? People think you become slow.
When you just now said, right, that it was so slow and all, and nobody noticed. In fact, that's where I think mind is playing that. My mind wants people to notice that. Oh wow,
Yeah.
I'm there. Right?
कुछ तो बात है, कुछ तो हुआ है.
Wow, it's great.
And if they don't notice, then what's the point?
Yeah, what's the point? And that's my wife asks every time, what's the point going to satsang? Or you're even worse. Thank you, Father. Thank you.
When, my dear? You want me to bless this?
See, Father, since it's work after a long time, I'm traveling outside. Last 2 days, the mind is been very active. Even now, I don't feel like traveling. You know, I'm just feeling very weird. You know, I'm feeling scared. In fact, there is no reason to feel scared, but not comfortable. It's like, one small needle, the balloon will burst. It's like that,
How much fear is needed to be experienced to make you scared?
How much fear?
If some fear comes, does that mean naturally that, oh, I'm scared?
No.
Is there a difference between the arising or the presence of the taste of fear and you being scared?
I'm not getting it.
So, suppose some lust came. Then, because lust came, would you say, I am lusty?
No.
Notice that lust came. Same way, some fear came. But I've noticed that in your case, if there's little fear also, you say, I'm scared. But it's just a sensation. Now, how much of it has to be there for you to conclude that I am scared?
Oh, in that moment when that arises, even any small hint or a sign in the space of which comes and goes, right? I feel, that, oh, this is happening. Like, see, this sign is happening. This sign is happening, right? See, that is happening. Like, might not be real, but I'm just assuming. And then
your mind proposes this sort of paranoia.
Yeah. See, that's happening. See, this is happening. See.
So mind is proposing all this. Fear is vibrating.
Yes.
Now,
it's not just one. It's like random, like all tangent. Many at just one shot.
Okay. But you stay with God's light in your heart.
That time I feel like backing off and being in my space, or rather, not my space, but being like slowing down. I literally feel like literally slow down.
Slow down, and stay in God's presence. Now, is God God? God?
Yes.
And in His presence, is there anything which can be bad for you or something that is still worth fearing?
That moment, that blankness comes, you feel safe. That even in all this arising, the minute I slow down, with I would use the word consciously, I feel I wouldn't call it safe. It's nice, but what's happening is there's a lot of Slack messages coming in, email popping up. I have to do a lot of work. In this conference I'm going, I'm like a lot of work on my head. I have to do a lot of, and it's all time is already gone. It's like, and then suddenly the mind is like, you haven't done anything.
So that which you're using as your escape, make that your home. That which you're using as your escape. Oh, I retreat and then I feel peace and then I go back and then I retreat. No, you make that your permanent home. From there, if something has to happen there, then let it happen. If nothing has to happen there, then let it not happen.
Okay.
But you don't leave your home.
Okay.
Because in this world, if you get involved like this, then the slap is inevitable.
Yes. Yeah.
You stay in your home, stretch your hands out, work like that. And if it seemed like, no, I have to jump in, then it's okay. Don't do it. Leave your job if you have to. I mean,
I understand.
not proactively, but let it not happen. Get fired, whatever needs to happen. You don't leave home. Stay with God. What can go wrong? Either God is not God. So our mind's doubt is what? That if I stay like this, then my life will become a mess. See, then God must not be God, no. That you're staying with someone and you're constantly in that one's presence and your life can still become a mess. Then how is it God? So that is the test of faith. In our faith, means intuitively we know that this is God's light. But our mind is doubting Thomas. It will doubt. So you don't leave your home. Extend your tentacles to do the work. And for that you have to let go of all ideas of what outcomes, all that.
Yes.
All that we've read about Karma Yoga, all the surrender, everything is encapsulated in this thing. Because if you fall for anything like outcomes, and I want to do my best, or I want to be seen to be a good worker, I've just started my new job, so I want to create a good impression. If you create any of those, then you will get sucked into the content. I have a cousin who lives overseas. So he had a nice job, but he got a job interview somewhere. So he said, I just go to just learn, how that company works and things like that. I don't want this job. So he went in the interview and he was just so unconcerned and indifferent about it, and he gave very direct answer that company became desperate to hire him. So they gave him like not that any of this is going to happen. They gave him like a huge pay rise and all of that, and they hired him actually. And he said, this was the best interview I did because I didn't care about getting the job. It's not a strategy to do, but I'm just saying that sometimes when we become dispassionate about it, then we allow it to unfold naturally.
Well, another thing is the so-called framework of work, right? When you're not inside your house, in that space, sometimes when you go out,
Don't go out.
no, what happens is this is what happens. No, this is what happens. No, this is also another fear for me. Like when you do things, like slow down a bit, people take advantage
With them.
in work.
Anything. I'm happy to be taken advantage of. Please take advantage of me. What will you take from me? This clothes, this body,
This is a
money.
very important point, Father. This,
What will you take? I've shared this.
yeah.
I'm unexploitable. Because what will you exploit?
Knowing that people are exploiting you or trying
How?
to, like,
What will they take from you? What is all that of value which you have?
because this is within the framework of work.
Don't that just because there is a box somewhere doesn't mean you pick it up, no. So I'm just saying, let that box lie there. What have you truly seen which is of value to you? What is the value to you? Exactly. What can take that away? Who can come and take it away? And if that is the only thing of value in us, how can we ever be exploited? Is it? So what then gives you the strength to follow your heart moment to moment? Is it? Otherwise, if you already have, okay, heart is there, but you also have a framework because there's work and then there's ethics and then what should people do and not do and all of those boxes, then it becomes too complicated. We give ourselves too much credit. 2 or 3 variables, if you have to juggle, we start becoming anxious.
Yeah.
Right? So, one variable, which is what is the heart saying? That's all. Exploit me. And one thing I've been telling some of your kids is that, because I've been reading a bit of Kabir these days, so he's been coming here to say, he didn't say it like that, he's been coming here often to say that सब हिसाब वो करने वाला है. You don't have to get concerned about these things. What is that? I'm not saying that somebody is clearly fooling you and you're saying, take. If that comes naturally, do it. You see? If that comes naturally from the heart, then do that also. But I'm saying just follow your heart's guidance moment to moment without superimposing any constructs. And can you notice your attempts to say, but in that construct, you see? Nothing is in that construct. That construct is mental, which we have to apply the mask to ourselves and work from there. No, it's not like that construct actually exists. Yeah? Are you able to meet this?
Yeah.
Like there's no such thing as work. It's not like this. That's a construct sitting over there, and then we say, okay, I have to work in that construct. That construct is a mental category that we have, and everybody's category about what work is different. You see, so it may have some commonality, but your idea of work, her idea of work, her idea of work, her idea of his idea of work, all are different. You see, so there's no universal construct lying there saying that, but in that construct, this is how it works. So, come what may, you stay with God's presence. And if God is God, then how can anything unfair happen?
Father, I would like to share something, Father.
Yeah.
That day you were saying, no, that Maya is like almost there. Something like that. What is that, Father?
Almost there?
Almost there. No?
It could be.
Something
I've said
like
all
that.
kinds of weird things.
Something like that you said.
It's like
Something like that.
the
is
minute we say it feels like or it seems like,
Ah,
huh? But it seems so real, but it feels like it is. But that is the definition of Maya. No?
Maya.
That which seems real or feels real but is not.
Yeah. Father, I had an experience of that. I wanted to expose it to you,
Yeah.
Father. So it's like you're in the being and you're very peaceful and you're in that state, And what happens after a time, you take it for granted and the mind takes over and it'll copy the same thing that, okay, I'm still peaceful. Oh, I'm still there. That same thing is continuing and then it'll catch on to the mind. It's like just an imposter, just it's such a
Trickster, no?
trickster. And then you're gone and then you're thinking that, okay, you're still in, abiding and it's still continuing, but it's not.
It's a beautiful composition by Kabirji again, where in that, have you heard that? Maya Mahathagni. So it tells you where all Maya comes and sits and hides, or can sit and hide. So sometimes in the seeming devotion of the devotee, it can hide. Sometimes in the Radha of Krishna, it can hide. Sometimes what it's trying to say is that we have to be careful of the slightest notion, because Maya can go and hide over there.
Father, one thing I felt, is helping is a mantra, Father.
Yeah.
Somewhere the mantra comes and it really just cuts across all the thoughts, and it makes the reality more reveal itself. I don't know how it happens like that, but whatever it seems almost there is no, it's not there. It's you have to still go back. Feeling that. Thank you, Father.
Let's turn this off. Give it.
Father, with me, with the term God, actually, so it kind of like it gets me in a different, you could say, a trap or something. So when I hear God or when I see this word itself is probably laden with a lot of like concepts and stuff. So it rather it sometimes disturbs me, Father. So
Yeah.
I sometimes feel maybe using the term self for me would be better.
Yeah.
So is it? I just wanted to ask: is it okay if I just replace it with self, or would it just be another version of my interpretation?
So
coming in?
what kind of conditioning? What has happened with
With
God
God?
and you?
Nothing like the thing is for the problem because raising up when we were growing up or
Yeah.
something, right? So we were just seeing people going to temples and
Yeah.
praying to God,
Yeah.
but always for some kind of expectation to
benefit.
get something in return.
Mm.
Or something. So there's nothing against that. I would say that, but the thing is, I couldn't relate to probably that form or in any way. Sometimes, yeah, that devotion used to come, but instantly it would just go away, also disappear within no time. So that consistency in terms of devotion was never there actually. So for me, it was more of about gaining knowledge or something, right? But there came a stage where I could see that it also has a limitation itself, right? The knowledge itself. So there I feel that now maybe the time has come to come into devotion now. But I'm struggling with this thing that with the God connection and how to really break that barrier actually.
So my children told me about this place. It's like a secret place in Bangalore. At the front, it's a pawn shop. It's a very fancy pawn shop. Like it's got like chocolate pan and all kinds of things you can never imagine. And there are actually like bouncer type bodyguards over there. So Garima and I went and we had some fun and we went away many months back. But what they told me is that behind this front is actually there's a speakeasy. Yeah? So so actually that's why the bodyguards and this thing. So it's a very exclusive sort of club. And so all these cool kids, they go and party over there, but you have to be let through by the bouncers over there, and to be let through there's a password every day. So if you have that password, you tell them and they'll let you through, otherwise you're not allowed. So what has happened is that as you've entered satsang, you entered thinking it's about something, like it's a pawn shop, no? But it's actually meant to introduce you to the holy presence within yourself. You see? And the one whose presence that is the one that we call God. Huh? So, like we do naming ceremonies and we say, okay, this is what this name means. So, I would request you, because God is a beautiful name for God. In fact, it's the best name for God that I have found. So, let that name be rid of all the false connotations of the past. But may you preserve that name for yourself afresh now, to tell you that this is the highest being, in fact, the only being in this universe. And it's a privilege that we can call it by name, call him by name. So rather than throwing the baby out with the bathwater, you see, you throw the dirty water out and keep the, especially because I've not noticed some very deep, like traumatic conditioning. Some may have a very traumatic, guilt-filled conditioning or something like that. So it doesn't seem that serious, this thing. So I would recommend for now that you look at it afresh. I'm reminding you of the fact that there's a holy presence within yourself. You see? And that presence belongs to the highest self itself. And God is another name for that. Either the manifest aspect of that self or the self itself. Saguna Nirguna Niku Govindure. So let's change what the word means for you to point to the real direction which it is meant to point to, rather than being rid of the word itself. And after a few days also, if you continue to have trouble, then we can shop more and we can see. Also, then what happens is that the endeavor or the project goes away from being what makes me comfortable or what makes me feel better or happy, and what did I actually want or what am I actually, to the immense possibility of the discovery of God Himself. You see? Which is the main thing hiding behind what we thought we were coming to satsang for. Sorry, I don't feel like I finished the metaphor at all. So we may think we are coming for this. So I just want to have a peaceful daily existence. I want to be stress free, or I had a bad relationship, or I had a bad something, and I want to be free from the trauma of that, be free from the problems in my life, all of those things. We may have come for that, you see, but you entered this place, and here, if you really enter, you can find the highest being in the universe, or in fact that in which the universe is shining, that one is sitting there. It's like you entered, I don't know if some of you have read Narnia, you entered this cupboard and you were not expecting, but there's a whole world there which you were not expecting. Now, were those kids deserving of going to Narnia? No, they were called by Aslan. No? They were called by God in that construct. So whatever reason you are here, and you have the possibility to discover the reality of this being, okay? and this is what the highest sages have yearned for since the beginning of humanity. Okay? And for some absurd reason, we are here. Okay? Just like the children in the wardrobe in Narnia, we didn't know what we had done to deserve this, but we are here. Okay? So this is the important sort of call we can make. Now that we are here, are we going to be like, no, but I was expecting quotes and this thing and not the wonderland that is this place. So we may go back. Is this? Or we may say, oh, I came for knowledge. I wanted to know myself better or the world better. But instead, wow, he's saying there is a being in the light of which the whole universe is come and go. He's saying there's a being like that, and I can meet that being, and I can live with that being. Would we want that possibility or not? Hmm? Hmm? So suppose you entered the realm and you found the king of that realm, and that king had a name, say Joseph, just to use a name. But you had had a bad relationship in the past with a guy called Joseph. Would you say now I cannot meet this king of the universe because he is Joseph and I had a bad relationship with Joseph? Or will you say that I will forget about that Joseph, that was nothing because I am meeting the king of the universe and they call him Joseph? So that's what I'm saying, that forget about what it meant to you in the past, and what I'm telling you about or who I'm telling you about is this one.
Yeah, I genuinely want to overcome this
Yeah.
thing, whatever is stopping me. But yeah, that's why I just want to know how to really do that. But yeah, like you said, I'm certainly.
It's been a while since you clarified what exactly it means to live in God's light, no? Is it like keeping that core always burning, like a fire, just like that, do some sadhana if you're losing it, rekindle it, and keep it burning throughout.
Yeah.
Is that what it
It's
is?
as simple as when I say don't leave your bed in the morning till you're living in God's presence or the God's light is palpable for you. What is that?
We're talking
Like
about the core, that core of
the core. Now I'm hoping that what you're talking about the core is what I'm talking about is God's light. How is it? Tell me more about the core.
it's some tingly kind of feeling here, and that's all I can say actually. It's not something infinite, but it's small, but it's
Yes.
it
But
has
where is its boundary?
that tingling quality. It has a boundary, but
Exactly. But where is its boundary? The one from which the seeming primordial vibration seems to arise.
it doesn't have a quality kind of thing. But
Sometimes what happens is, we have to be careful of the words that we use. Because I usually say primordial vibration. If you make it tingling quality, then something the mind can also construct and say, that tingling quality over there, ting ting ting, like that, something. Whereas if you were to just use the words that you're hearing in satsang, not forcefully, but is it not like a primordial vibration?
Vibration maybe primordial. No, it's the subtlest. You mean it like that?
Yes.
Like all the other stuff is.
And in a sense, immaculate in the sense of being causeless. No? Like we cannot identify and say cause. For everything we can identify cause and say, oh, this comes from this and this comes from that. But this itself, we don't have a manifest cause. No?
You mean like in time or
No, we don't have a manifest source, let's say.
source? Yeah. Yeah. And keeping that burning, that's the task when you say live in God's light.
Let that not get covered by dust. Is a better way to look at that, because it's always burning by itself, but it becomes it seems to get away from our field of vision when we are caught up in individuality and mental oppression. So don't just make sure you keep brushing the dust off. The dust is avidya. See, ignorance makes it seem like we have lost it.
Okay.
Certifiably, there's no other way to lose it except avidya. Certifiably because Bhagwan said so. Right?
When he said that, it's really important now because I am nowhere close to what he is saying. Right? So maybe tingling.
He's still doing the projective testing.
No,
If I was him, would I be there?
no, not for the not. Let me expose what.
What are you far
so
from?
when I say in the morning, and it's like I don't want to use that word, but it's empty here. Yeah, and that's when I say, okay, I am with God, and I can wake up. Like it's like effortlessness there, and just isness there, but nothing what as I said, which is centric or one point or one location. Is just wanted to.
When the head is empty, what's happening in the heart?
There is something, but it's not. It's not. It's effortless. There is not even a single 1%
Well,
effort.
but what is that in the heart?
Some sort of. I mean, I would use word joy or something which doesn't have any constraint. I don't know how to
Yes.
explain that, but there's nothing attached to that or no
When I
constraints.
say, can you stop being? Is that what comes into our field of discovery?
It's like just easiness. I would, the closest word I can use is that, yes, it's there. It's just there, nothing. And that's where I think, okay, fine, my mind is not
Now,
interfering.
does it have a taste? In the sense that which witnesses it, that which is aware of it, is completely tasteless. So it's a pure nirguna discovery. But this presence or spirit or atma, does it have a taste?
I could say it has a taste of peacefulness or like tranquility or calmness. It's there. I can feel the quality of that.
Yes. So suppose I was to say that I'm just prodding more and more, although I feel like you're on the right track. Suppose we say peace, love, joy, let's call those byproducts. What does it itself taste like? It's a very tough question.
Right.
Very tough question. Because it's the only tastable tastelessness. And these words will not help your mind, of course, but it's like because God is so beyond, and this is a metaphor, it's not reality, but it's like God said, if I continue to be only available in that beyond, इनका कोई chance नहीं. There's no chance for anyone in humanity if I continue to reside in my true abode of beyondness. So, as a gift, as my mercy to them, I'm going to make them available, make myself available as their own presence, the subtlest taste that they can imagine.
Now I think I can express this as like a complete in Hindi word trupt. Like I'm totally trupt. It's like I don't know the English word for it. It's like a content is also some proper. Trupt is like nothing left. That's and then and that's where I think fine, everything is fine.
Yes. Where do you experience this?
It's like everywhere. It's not like look.
Huh?
Yeah. If I want to locate it, it would be just behind myself or somewhere. It's just there.
When you taste love, does it come from this?
My the love is always the subjective one which I've experienced. But I can feel the quality of gratitude which comes from that,
Yes,
or I would say karuna.
Yeah, I'm not buying the previous report, which is always this thing, but suppose, okay, gratitude is good to start with. Yeah, gratitude comes from
that state.
Comes from here, no?
Yeah.
Vibration also, it's like on and off. It's not like it's a primordial vibration. It's not like vibrating.
Yeah.
It's like on and off.
On and off.
It's like
Show me the off.
Intensity goes up and it doesn't happen.
Does it? Intensity, you could be saying on the basis of, because this is the primordial taste, and therefore we can settle our attention onto it as well. So, do you mean by intensity that when your attention is on it, you can feel it more deeply and stronger, and when your attention is fully immersed in this, it seems so strong, but if it's somewhere else, it may seem a bit more diffused. Is it like that?
When my attention is, even when my attention is there, then what?
Now, are you visualizing?
I'm just, my attention went there and then I can't.
Okay, who is perceiving this play of attention? That is the being. That is the one that we're talking about. That one's presence is the presence we're talking about.
The one perceiving attention going places. You
Perceiving all perceptions.
All perception. Like by vibration, what do you mean then? Like
it's like a somebody help me with this. What is it like? Okay, let me see. What is it like? Yes, but what the mind's version of vibration is like, it's on, off, like that.
It's like
Yeah.
it's on, just on. Yeah.
It's more like a.
Yeah.
Yes. This must be very irritating, I'm sure. But how to explain?
It always reminds, it pulls you into the vibration.
Yeah.
Even if your attention is somewhere.
The thing with the word vibration is, till we meet it, after we meet it, we may say, okay. Okay? But till it is met like that as a vibration, we may be like, vibration, where's the vibration? Maybe. So, can you stop being? How do you know? Because
That thing on
that thing only, and that thing is, but it's going on and off. So being, not being, not being. Being. That's like my tube light in the bedroom right now. Just it's not like that. No, it's just waking state. It comes and then stays. It's just like the waking state isn't that, and yet it's like one om that never ends, no?
Yeah, call it the sound of silence.
Yeah, sound of
It's
silence
always
or
a hum.
I amness or a hum, very popularly referred to as hum and om and all of these things.
Even that is hum is like on and off, no? Goes up, goes up and down, like not up and down in space, but in intensity maybe, or
Yes, but how are you capturing the variance in intensity? You notice it with your attention? Or?
tension comes from there.
Yeah.
Like the other end of attention, I like used to say.
Yeah. What wakes up in the morning? We should say what wakes up and then morning wakes up within that, but you know what I mean.
So something which is like utterly peaceful and it's like
Yeah.
It's like an intense peacefulness within which something may or may not. I don't know if something's happening.
To peacefulness, but isn't it like a living being?
Presence.
Yeah, like when we say presence, what do we mean? Like a living presence, no? Like a being is there, like somebody is there, not body, but
Beingness.
yeah. Huh? Like a sense of being, but an actual being. The sense can be tasted, but it confirms the presence of an actual being there. Who is that being? That is Atma.
Intelligence is open to Atma. Intelligence.
Huh?
It's not the person is not the.
Yes, but when yes, it is very intelligent. The only intelligence there is. But I'm a bit scared to use that, like it, because it makes it seem like a like gravitation or magnetism or something like that. I'm saying that there's a presence of an actual being there.
See, supposing you were supposed to wake, say, at 7:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
because you have an important meeting, and intelligence, something wakes up. I like, okay, and it's not 7:30; it's before 7:30.
Yeah.
And it's an intelligence that simply knows to wake the body up before it's time, before the alarm rings.
Well,
Can you say that?
I would say that all this game is played, and then it says, okay, let the time be 7:30, rather than it waiting and saying, okay, I'm going to wake this body up at 7:30. It's going to create all of this and put a body over there and say, here, 7:30, time starts now. So we are sort of presuming a fixed construct of time within which God is also operating, saying, okay, now it's 10 p.m., now it's 7:30, now it's this thing. So at okay, Chanda has to be woken up at 7:30, Shiva has to be woken 7:25. So God is in the morning saying, wake up, wake up, wake up, like that, like that, like that. Huh? But actually, it's not like this. It's that when the waking state comes and the king of the waking state, God, is here, then he determines what time it is for your universe, for your dream that you call the universe. So when Ashtavakra said, you are the boundless ocean in which the arcs of the universes come and go, this is how it happened.
You have to repeat that again.
It's beautiful,
Please,
actually. It's a
yeah.
beautiful contemplation.
Very poetic.
Maybe an example will help. So many years back, and I was sharing satsang even then, so I shared this then. My kids left for school at 7:30. They said bye, pa. Then I said, okay, I'm going to go back and have a bit more of a nap and wake up in some time. In that nap, I had a dream. In that dream, and I promise you, it was not in some fast forward mode or something like that. I lived a full lifetime till I was middle aged. As I was middle aged, I was at a point where I was getting concerned because a play or some event was starting and I was half an hour late. So that half an hour ticking past was very apparent to me in normal this thing. So the whole life was lived like a full normal life and everything happened there. And just when I got to this thing, it became 8 o'clock here. So when I woke up, it was still 8 o'clock here. But I had lived a whole lifetime. No? So in this world's time, only half an hour had passed. And in that world's time, the whole lifetime had passed. So which is the real time? So suppose this got over in another 10 minutes, and this would be the dream in that construct. You see? And then I'm back there and the play is getting over or something like that. So reality is not as straight line as we think it is. Consciousness is all there is in time and space. If we can meet just the immensity of even that, all there is in time and space is not a linear set of possibilities. No? So that means that the only thing that has happened in consciousness is Ananta's hand has only gone like this, like this, like this, like this. This cannot be true. That would be too limiting for consciousness. So in that there must be another possibility where his hand went from here to here, another possibility where his hand went from here to here. All those and all of those are just one tiny play for this God, for this consciousness. So it's not that, of course, for when you have to talk to regular people, you can say, yes, yes, I just not naturally wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning or 7:30 in the morning because something wakes me up, that intelligence wakes me up. But the truth is much more fascinating than that. Like time.
That's what quantum physics is trying to understand, right? These days.
A lot of
Exactly
quantum
that.
physics. A lot of quantum physics is reaching the woo-woo sort of
It's pretty cool, actually.
cool stuff
Whenever I hear them,
that the sages
oh,
have
we are
talked
proving
about
God
in.
exists. It's like, wow.
Yes, like the sages have mentioned in Yoga Vasishtha. So a lot of quantum physics is very similar to Yoga Vasishtha.
So I looked out of the window and I saw myself as a man in a kurta pajama, white head, same time, same space, or Consciousness can create any time, any space,
Yes, of
any
course.
number of cells, any number of antakarans.
Why? Why just with the objects, the space in between,
And the objects.
carpet and the this thing, everything. In the dream, which is me? Is the building not me? Is the mountain not me? Is the river not me? Is the space in which all of that seen not me? Where is all that happening? We're happy to admit it when we say, oh, that was in the dream state last night. But what in us has the potential to project all these mountains, rivers, and time? And within that also there's one body, mind, who we say that was me in the dream, as if the rest of it was not you. You see? So the point is not to try and come to, that is the scientific endeavor, which is to say, okay, this is exactly how it is. I know enough by now to say that we will never be able to define in that way exactly how God is. But the point is to shake up our notions of time and space. That we think we know something and it's linear like this and linear. And at the same time, we say God is everything. You see, but what we mean is everything in space. But why not everything in time? And then we think the time is one arrow, which is only like that. Then it can't be everything. No?
So when you ask us that what is it?
I'm not on any medication today. Huh?
So when you said, I mean, so when you said.
This one point I want to make is that is why I'm saying that the immensity of the discovery, which is God, you see, where all of this play of light and sound is nothing but a tiny, tiny blip. You see? But in that blip, there are so many intricacies and so many mysteries. So can you even fathom the immensity of the Lord? You see, and what has happened to us is that we've normalized like a lot of things. Like that there's a God, and then God is the light of this universe, but also is the caretaker, like a loving mother. So when something comes, then God Himself comes down as Ram and Krishna and Jesus. And these are fantastical stories. I mean, I'm saying it in a good way. They're not imagination. It's amazing that the king of this universe would be compassionate enough to take care of such fools in this way, that he himself comes down as Ram and Krishna and Jesus. But what has happened is because we hear it at a very young age and we sort of normalize it and we say, oh, okay. But what are we talking about? That for whom these millions of universes are nothing but blips, that himself makes an appearance in the blip. And today we are celebrating one of those days, no? Krishna's birth. Imagine that. And all this becomes very simple without this. But with this, how this, how that, how I don't understand, I get it, I don't get it. So I would really say, like a book like the Yoga Vashishta is a must read. It was written centuries ago and it just shakes up all our notions of linear reality, time and space, everything. But we must read it literally. You must not read it like, oh, that's some great piece of writing. Wow, very imaginative. No, you must read it like a sage has written it, because the sage has written it, one of the greatest sages ever, Vasishtha. He's written it when? And now in popular culture and all of that, people are talking about all these multiverses and all these things. So when we read from the sages, we must know that no sage is a liar. No sage is trying to trick us or give us some silly imaginary ideas or fantastical notions. Because the mind is very quick to just put it in a category of imagination or poetry or something like that.
Able to see the literal aspect of it, like how literal it is.
Yes, you must. But see where? See, the question is, see where? In with the eyes of faith, I see it fully. But in the world, the eyes of faith are almost like the eyes of ignorance, which is exactly the upside down. And I'm saying faith, not belief. There's a huge difference. No? What is the difference between faith and belief? Faith is to trust that which is intuitive to you, which you know in your heart. To trust that with all your might is faith. Belief is just like concept. Today I believe this is this, tomorrow I believe. But your heart is not fickle like that. Your heart is guiding you steadily. So the mystery of this is way beyond our conceptual understanding. But if our quest is to meet the source for the love of the source, then all this knowledge will reveal itself naturally to us. And it has done. Before the invention of scientific instruments, people were writing the Vedas and writing all this intuitively. They knew. So when we say God, that is the one we are talking about. Actually, the immensity of the privilege is too much. If it is a question of worthiness, none of us would be allowed to utter g also. God. But in the world, it's popular these days to say, I don't believe. Is he there for me? Oh, what are you? A blip on the blip, on the blip, on the blip. But we must not disrespect in that way. We don't realize, no? But we must not. So we walk into this strange place in a very regular part of town, very regular building. We open the door, and the possibility of the highest that has ever been available to a human through God's grace, through Guruji's grace, makes itself available to you. The same discovery that Vibhu and Ashtavakra and Yajnavalkya and all the sages through time, through all traditions, religions and cultures. So sometimes the regularness of this place and this expression is helpful because we feel like it is approachable for us. But sometimes it's a disadvantage because in the regularness we start feeling that what is on offer is also regular. What we are meeting is also regular. It is not true. Because if what I'm finding is not God, then I must be the most deluded human to have ever been born. Because for me it is so clearly the truth.